I'm looking at an article for something on an independent news source online about a DC cop caught running a child prostitution ring out of his apartment with a missing girl found inside. This is in our nation's capital, folks. What is this? Question mark, question mark, question mark. What is wrong with people? In the last month, since Christmas, I have read no less than 50 reports of cops killing people with witnesses on camera for reasons as stupid or as unbelievable as anything that can be imagined. They say things like they brought it on themselves, that it wasn't supposed to go so far, that if they had just shut up and done what they were told. No, 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 no. Police are civil servants. Police are civil servants. Last year, they reported the least number of deaths in 60 years, with the fewest number of deaths by firearm ever. And people always talking, I'm sorry, not people, politicians are always talking about how dangerous it is to be a police officer. They're walking that thin blue line. No, I'm sorry. But with the way that things are run now, the police are given so much leeway, they are no longer police. You can call them cops, you can call them pigs, you can call them whatever you want. They aren't police officers anymore. There might be some good ones out there. As a matter of fact, let me restate that. I know there are good cops out there. I have friends who serve on the force in various states across this country. We bullshit, we joke. Most of them have probably had to make some pretty tough choices over the course of their career. But you have so many that are joining the force as a job. It's just a job. It's just something to make money. You go to work, you do your job, you go home. You go to work, you follow orders, you go home. People are dying. They are being beaten to death, shot, set on fire by police officers. Men, women, children. Children? Really? Children. Cops are killing kids. Cops are beating to death homeless men, mentally ill, veterans that have served our country. They are shooting people for talking back, for giving them lip. Shouldn't have crossed me, they say. I read something about a graduate student on a campus. A cop just opened fire while the kid was in his car. Said he was resisting, but witnesses said otherwise. You see this every day, and what do you do about it? What do you do about it? As the common man, these people are supposed to protect and serve us. I see the memes on Facebook all over the place, protecting the serving the shit out of you, as the picture is them beating someone. That's not funny. That's not any kind of funny. That is despicable, deplorable, unimaginable. I read something yesterday. A woman killed one of her rapists and she got arrested, sent to prison. I'm sorry. If anyone ever threatens my life, threatens my well-being, they have forfeit their life. They have forfeit their right to life because they would threaten mine. I don't care who you are, what your stance on that is. I live my life by the non-aggression principle. I do not try to force any of my beliefs on anyone else. I believe in free thought, free debate. I am a sovereign human being. I am a sentient person. There is not a man or woman that can give me or take away my rights. And as such, the fact that legislation is passed by a minority sitting on Capitol Hill telling me what I can and can't do with my life, the fact that thousands upon thousands of laws are written and passed, written by unelected politicians, people who were never in office or who aren't in office, people whose voices shouldn't matter in our lives. The only thing that matters in this world is how we treat one another. And I have news for you. We aren't treating each other very well. We are letting our cops kill people. We are letting our police officers abuse their power. We are letting everyone who has any kind of power abuse it. I am 25 years old. In all my life, I have never seen a politician do anything for anyone who could not do for him until now. Earlier tonight, I read something about Utah, the state of Utah, trying to cut its homeless not by shoving them out the door, not by kicking them to the curb. No, 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 no. They just give them an apartment, and they give them a caseworker, and they try to get them on track. They try to get them into a better mode of living so that it might inspire a better quality of life. That's a hell of an idea, yeah? You're gonna take somebody who's got nothing and you're gonna give them enough to get started? Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Because then they've got a starting point. They have a place from which they can set forth. They have a place to which they can return at night and not have to worry about something terrible happening to them just because they have nowhere to sleep. They don't have to worry about freezing to death in the winter, dying of anything, any kind of sickness from sleeping in the gutter or the alley or the park. They don't have to worry about people messing with them while they're sleeping. They don't have to worry about any of that. They have a place to go. Wake up, people. There are 7 billion people on this planet. And more than half of them live, at least half of them, live below what we consider the poverty line. Another serious percentage of them live below what those people consider below the poverty line. When are we going to understand that corporations can't do anything for us and government doesn't work? It is time we took a stand for ourselves. Wearing pink shirts doesn't do anything to promote gay awareness, and you can't tell everybody, oh, don't buy gas today, because if no one in the country buys gas today, it'll cost the gas companies this much money. Well, guess what? Gay awareness, there's no such thing. Everybody knows what a gay person is. It's a matter of respecting yourself enough to respect another person's right to life, right to live, and right to be unhindered, unhampered, and left the fuck alone to do whatever the fuck they want as long as it doesn't hurt you. Now I'm kind of struck up right now. I've been reading all day. I've been dealing with a lot of things on my plate all day, and it's hard for me not to get just a little emotional about some things. You have Americans killing each other because of which side of the law they're on. I live by the non-aggression principle. However, I have a very short temper. I have a very, very low tolerance for people who abuse the opportunity they have to help people by using it to hurt people. It seems to me that cops today have no problem killing anyone because they'll get away with it. I think that it should be common practice of every person across the planet to boycott this in the only way that gets the point across. If you see a cop go for his gun, you shoot him in the leg. You shoot him in the hand. You shoot him in the arm. If you think that a police officer means to harm you and you have the means to defend yourself, do it. Hurt them. Cripple them. You want to talk about the dangers on the job? How about the dangers of the job? Because as far as I can see right now, at the domestic level, police are only one level above the scum-sucking bureaucrats that back their plays. And the only reason I say that is because at least there are a couple of cops on the force that are still good people, that don't pistol whip and shoot people because they don't get up when they're told to because they are deaf or they suffer from Down syndrome or they're old or whatever. Unless a cop's life is in danger, he should never even reach for his gun. Unless a cop feels threatened by someone for a good reason, like, they're threatening him. A cop should never reach for his gun. They should never, ever touch their sidearm when dealing with any kind of routine traffic stop. I have been approached with cops already having their guns unholstered. It is time that people understand that it is not meant to be this way. Police do not have extra rights just because they have badges and guns. If anything, they have more responsibility to the people that they are supposed to be serving because they are there for a reason. They are there to keep us safe. They are there to make sure that we can sleep well at night without having to worry about someone hurting us, hurting our families. They are supposed to be the guardians of every city, of every town. They are supposed to be inspiring hope and courage in people, not fear. I shouldn't have to worry every time I see a cop walk past me, drive past me, that he's going to get a sudden hair up his ass because he doesn't like my hair. He doesn't like my fucking beard. He doesn't like that I'm taller than him. I try very hard when dealing with police officers to be respectful. And it's very hard for me because I have such little respect for the way that most of them compose themselves. Most of them hold themselves. It makes me sick. Police officers used to be something that you aspired to be when you were kids. I remember saying when I was a kid that when I grew up I wanted to be a police officer. I wanted to help people. Hell, I wanted to be that cop that got that little girl's cat out of the tree that I saw in my favorite Archie comic books growing up. It's not like that anymore. I don't know. I don't know if it'll ever be like that again. I don't know if the faith in our boys in blue can ever be restored. When you have police officers with with almost tanks rolling down your street, when they have grenade launchers, when they have, what cop needs a grenade launcher? What regular city cop needs a grenade launcher or an M16? I don't live in Detroit. I don't live in Chicago. You know, I don't live in a place like Jacksonville or Miami. And I've been to all these places, and I can tell you that cops in these places, they have a reason to have their hands on towards their guns, and not because every stop that they make is going to even has the potential of turning out life-threatening, but because so many have. But the thing here to remember is that the people that they are dealing with in these places, they are dealing with the results of the legislation passed in their cities. It's not that, like Detroit, it's not that the gangs have any problems getting guns in Detroit. It's that Detroit has some of the strictest gun laws in the country, which keeps the common man from getting guns. It keeps people from protecting themselves. Why? I don't know. Maybe so they can jack up their murder rate, so they can scare people into banning guns, but I will never give up my guns. I'm a patriot. I'm a brave. I believe in the Second Amendment. I believe in all my amendments. I believe that when you come for my rights, when you come for my liberties, you have forfeit your right. Depending on how hard you come for them, it depends. That will decide what you forfeit. You might forfeit your life. You might forfeit other people's lives. You might forfeit mine. But you will not take my rights. You can't. I'm a sovereign being. Not only that, I will fight for them. I will do more than fight for them. My rights, my liberties, mean more to me than the lives of those who would suppress and oppress anyone, not just me, anyone. No one has the right to tell anyone else how to live. If we all spent more time focusing on our lives and less time focusing on everyone else's, maybe we could start to do something about the problems we have created in this world. Policemen and women, you are no different. You have a job to do. It is to protect people. I don't care if you think that the quota is more important than the mission statement. And if your quota is your mission statement, then you better reevaluate. There are more people like me every day because of your actions. You killing people. You hurting people because you wear that badge, because you're ordered to. If you want to take your Stalinistic views to the job, then take them over to Russia and see what Putin's got to say about them. To President Barack Obama, I understand that you're a puppet. I do. You're a very well-spoken puppet most of the time when you're not flustered on the camera, when you're not trying to cover up your ass. So I guess you're really not that. You need to reevaluate your life. You need to reevaluate your policies and your choices, because I don't give a rat's ass about the voters' polls for you. You are doing irreparable damage, not just to the country, but to the world. You are saying it is okay for people to treat people this way. You are the president. Even if you're a puppet, that means something to the common man. It means something different to each of us. All I've known in my life is dirty politicians. It doesn't surprise me anymore how low you can sink. It just disgusts me. If you're going to continue on this path, Mr. Obama, you're going to have a serious revolution. You're going to push people and they're going to push back. You're going to push us, you're going to take things from us, and we're not going to stand for it. You may think that flooding the country with other ethnicities to dilute the voter count, to dilute the and passing all your piss poor voter registration or anti-voter registration, so that your illegal immigrants that didn't take the time to go through the correct course to come into this country with a green card, you can bring them all over all day long. But your cops don't know the difference. And you can only upset so many before we stand and we fight. This world's going to end someday. Personally, I don't want it to be in my lifetime. Between Fukushima and the chemical spill in West Virginia, and going back further, all the oil spills and the chemical spills and just the general polluting of our oceans via big business that over the last 5 years you have allowed to continue, that you have deregulated the EPA so much, that you have cut funding, that you have destroyed any chance of anyone regulating anything. There's mercury, arsenic, cadmium, fluoride in our food, in our water. Everything that we touch, unless it's grown organically, is poison to us. Autism, Down syndrome, every kind of nervous system and negative brain anomaly that causes terrible, terrible sicknesses in children has been on the rise steadily for decades because we've been poisoning them. McDonald's serves burgers that are pretty much styrofoam. Or maybe that's their McRibs. I don't know what the hell's in their $2 double cheeseburgers, but it can't be good for you because the price of ground chuck is $10 for 2.5 pounds. So you aren't going to be able to get 2 patties on a bun for $2. To the American people, I say this. Your passivity gives them power. You, being passive, allows them to take. It allows them to steal. It allows them to wage war. I'm not sure how many of you know this, but $8 trillion went missing last year from a particular government budget. It's public knowledge. You can look it up. Won't go ahead and go into it. The Department of Justice, the NSA, Department of Defense, the CIA, tobacco, firearms, and alcohol, and the FBI, Homeland Security. All of these These are not your friends. These are not your friends. These agencies are put in place to monitor your movements, to make sure that none of us get out of line. Couldn't have another Nikola Tesla running around trying to give the world free energy. Can't have anyone trying to do anything for anybody that would empower them. You have to empower yourselves. You need to start reading. I would start with, looking up who runs this country. It's not Obama. If it was Obama, then he wouldn't keep taking vacations. He wouldn't keep disappearing. He wouldn't keep this parade of celebrities around him. The White House has become the new Jersey Shore, with way better ratings because everybody's interested. It's the ultimate reality TV show, but guess what? America, it affects you. This isn't like American Idol where you dial in your vote. The only vote you cast right now has nothing to do with the president, has nothing to do with Congress, has nothing to do with your senator, your governor, your mayor. The only vote you cast has to do with your life or their profits. Anybody want a fun fact? Go look up how many millionaires there are in Congress. Go look up how many pay raises they've had. And then look up how many times the national minimum wage has gone up. Period. It is unconscionable to think that you can continually raise taxes, that you can force people to work for pittances for corporations that they could afford to pay their employees more. They should be mandated to pay their employees more. Either they start paying us more, or we stop paying taxes directly out of our check, because taxes are theft. Taxation is theft. We do not get a say in what our money is used for. You should not get it. The American people, you need to wake up. I don't know how many times you've heard that statement in the last however many years, but it's true. Everyone needs to wake up. Everyone needs to start understanding that this cannot go on. It has got to stop. When people are paying 35% of their total income in taxes, 25 to 35%, that's still, anywhere in that scope is an outrageous sum. Especially when at least 60% of what you make after that, if not 80 to 90%, goes towards your housing. If you have anything left after that, it's probably gas to get to work. And all that, if you've got enough for all that, you're probably just above the poverty line, so you don't qualify for food stamps, government assistance, or anything that can help, period. Prior to 1913, we didn't have taxes like we do today. People kept what they earned. We still had roads, still had firefighters, still had cops. We still had a military. I think that if the government needs money so bad, it needs to find a new racket. It doesn't need our taxpayer dollars because it doesn't know what to do with them. It is bloated and complacent. It is nothing for them to write off $1 trillion. You want a really funny fact? Go look up how much $1 trillion $100 bills, or $1 trillion in $100 bills weighs. Look up what it looks like. That is what they waste with the flourish of a pen. every single day. The time is coming where that money won't mean it won't mean any more to us than it does to them right now. It's fake. It's fiat. It's worthless. The American dollar is worth less than Canadia's money right now. Canada. It is in steady decline. People, turn off your TV, get off your ass, go find an independent source to find out some real information about what's going on in your world. It matters. Your TV bombards you with sound waves and light waves that cripple your brain function. It makes you stupid. And if you don't think you're stupid, even if you're a smart person, you could be more. You could be more. You could be doing more, thinking more, saying more. There is nothing on television that can help you. You can watch National Geographic. You can watch the History Channel. That's great, you know? You can't live off that. You can't spend all of your free time in front of a TV and expect to make anything of your life. There are homeless people everywhere. There are sick, starving, and dying people everywhere. America is the melting pot. We literally have citizens from 197 countries from around the world living here. This is probably the only place on the planet that can boast that. We literally have people from everywhere else living here. We have descendants of every nation, every country that has probably existed since our founding. This should make us unified as a people, not divided. We came together here because this was the land of opportunity, where the streets were paved with gold, they said. Maybe not literally, but there's no other place in the world that you can have this kind of access to information. And I don't know how long we're going to have it. The corporations have been given power over the internet. Obama is trying to fast track the TPP, which is the Trans-Pacific Partnership. If you don't know about the death of net neutrality and the birth of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, you need to look these things up. They are affecting your life. Or rather, they will be very soon. It's amazing how time flies when I get to rambling. On a quick note before I wrap up, people, there are so many opportunities here. The most impressive of that is to make your own opportunities. If you are willing to look, if you are willing to open yourself to the possibilities, if you're willing to try and change the way you think to suit what you need, rather than trying to suit what you need to the way you think, then chances are you can do great things. I meant to go into other things, but I'm already over a half hour. I will be posting more. comments, feedback, always grateful. If you don't like what I got to say, love to hear from you. Peace.